So at what age did you realize that soccer was a sport you were going to be playing your whole life?
Probably, I mean, I'd have to say probably around 4 or 5. I think I just grew up around it my entire life. My dad was so into it. He loved playing in college throughout his young years, and kind of brought it towards me. And I just remember growing up and just watching soccer/football my entire life and just being around the sport all the time.
Yeah, being a New Jersey native, having relations with close friends as well. Growing up in that soccer household, was it always a dream? Was it always the vision for you to go the long run and play professional?
Yeah, for sure. I think that, like I said, growing up, I think that my entire life it was just going pro. Like I always had that vision, and I think my dad also has a huge role in that too, because he was someone that was always pushing me to be the best I could be. And same with my brother too. He deserves a lot of credit because he's also making a name for himself at Philadelphia Union now, and me and him have been pushing each other since 4, 5, 6. Like we've always wanted to be one up than each other. We've always wanted to win in crossbar challenge, finishing, anything's always been a competition. So my entire life, I think that's always been the goal of the family, was to go pro.
Yeah, and I'm sure having Paxton side by side with you, that's good competition no matter what, right?
Yeah, no matter what, bro. It's really unreal to have a little brother that's so good, and you can play with him all the time. You just go in the backyard, you just do some finishing, do some passing, just someone to play with you. I think that's what a lot of kids miss out on. And I was really fortunate to have a younger brother that is so good and will continue to get better and better, and I'm excited to see his journey too.
Of course. So now, can you talk about your rise through Philadelphia Union's academy?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll take you from the beginning. So basically, at 10 years old, I was playing for Real New Jersey at the time. I'm sure the listeners and you know who they are, the club out of Medford, and I was playing for Real at the time. And I had got invited to go to the Union Juniors. This was before the Union Academy started. It was kind of the start of everything. The Union just came to be an MLS team and all these things. So I got invited to go do this Union Juniors thing, and it was all the best players from around the region would come in and play. And so I went for like a year, and you would train two nights a week. You'd go up and you'd still play with your club team, but then you'd go up and train with the Union Juniors. And yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic time for me. I was playing with really good players week in and week out, and it really helped me develop even more. And I was learning more. I was getting coached by my dad and Mr. Wagner. I'm sure you know who he is. Have been great coaches my entire life, but then get that next step up from coaches was huge in my young development. And yeah, that started from there with Union Juniors. And I got invited to the Union Academy after that to play up from doing so well in the trainings and being a leader on the field and all those kinds of things. So then I got invited to play for the Union Academy. And I started at U14 when I was 13 and basically worked my entire way up until U18. And then second team, and then first team, of course. So it was a long journey and had some ups and downs, but it was amazing, and I can't say enough about the Union Academy.
And you speak about the ups and downs. Were you always a starter on all of these teams, or were there any challenges making that first squad?
Yeah, there was challenges. I was never, like, in the early parts, I was a starter. I was the first 2 years, I would say I was a starter week in and week out. And then there was a time where I was small. I've always been small, always my entire life. And I was small, but then all these other kids were growing, and then I wasn't growing yet. And I was getting frustrated and all these things, like I wasn't growing. And that was my 16th year when I was 15. So I was playing up a year again. And yeah, it was a frustrating year for me. And I felt like I deserved to play, but I was too small. People were pushing me off the ball, all these things. And then halfway through that year, I hit a growth spurt and I grew like 5 inches, which is a crazy amount. And I just remember being like a baby giraffe on the field. I couldn't find my feet. Sometimes I was falling, all these kinds of things. And it was a weird time for me. So that was definitely a year that was frustrating. I wasn't used to not playing. I had always played before. And yeah, but I think it only showed me that I have to work even harder and get better with things. And then from that point on, I think I just starting like every single year was just keep going up and up for sure.
Of course. So that was a big mental year for you to.
Yeah, for sure. I think at a young age, I think that all you want to do is play. And at a young kid's age, it's hard to kind of sit week in and week out and just not play and then you have kids talking trash and all these kinds of things. And then it's kind of hard on your mentality at a young age. And then I think it's just kind of what shaped me to be the player I am today.
For sure. So now, do you mind telling us a little bit about what it felt like signing that first professional contract for the Union?
Yeah, bro. I mean, what a moment for me and my family. I think that for me in general, a club that I've been with my entire life, and they've devoted so much time and money and all these kinds of things into me and to the whole academy, and just to represent and sign with the Philadelphia Union was a dream come true and something I always wanted to do. I actually was going to Indiana University at the time. I had decided that I wanted to go there, but at the time I was like, you know what, I have to go pro. I mean, these kids are going pro at such young ages. It's been a dream of mine. It's what I want to do, and I just went with it and I took it, and yeah, it was the right decision, I think.
It worked out for you for sure.
Yeah.
So not like you speak of these young ages, these players going pro at such a young age. You break into that first squad. How did it feel playing with players much older than you at the same time?
Yeah, it was different for me. You know, I came up a half a year like to just train, and wow, it was a crazy kind of jump. You know, I was at the second team at the time, and it was good level, but I was getting kind of used to level. It was more fluid for me, all these kinds of things. And then you jump to the next even more level, and it's just like, wow, you know, you're playing with guys like Ale Bedoya, Harris Beduginin, Bork Dochcal at the time. Like, you have these really top players that were at big clubs in Europe, and you're kind of sitting back and like, wow, like I got to keep learning, keep getting better. And I had an open mindset, and that's what I did. And I think that during that half a year where I was learning and I was kind of going up with a team with not playing any games, so I had no pressure. I could play as bad or as good. It wouldn't have mattered, you know? So I think that was a really good time for me. And yeah, I learned a lot.
Yeah. So now on your debut, you with Union, you scored your first MLS goal. Can you walk through that feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can't, like, sometimes you can't even write things that happen sometimes. You're like, oh, like you start your debut, it's in Atlanta United Stadium, it's Mercedes-Benz, it's sold out almost every game. It doesn't matter who they're playing against. Like, against the Philadelphia Union, you think, oh, they're going to have like 15,000 people. No, there's like 60,000 people there, and it's so loud. The place is erupting. I mean, I remember just walking out and just feeling like I was going to puke everywhere. I was so nervous. And yeah, I mean, it's just, I feel like for me, I've always had like this thing where whenever I get on the field, everything just goes away. Everything around me just disappears, and I just go out and I play my game, and that's what happened. And, I mean, I was super grateful, super happy just to help the team get a point, because we had struggled off in the beginning of the season. And yeah, from that point on, I think I just rode with confidence throughout that season.
And it was a banger too. It wasn't no tassel.
I got a little lucky with it, but I mean, it was a nice goal to start off with.
Of course. So in the 1920 season, you went on to win the Supporters' Shield as well. Winning, I guess that was your first major trophy. How was that feeling?
Yeah, that was an amazing feeling too, just because the club has never won a trophy. We've never really, I mean, I guess you could say we have come close. I think the year before we had come close before. We were like in fourth place for the Supporters' Shield, but that was really the closest time we've ever had to a trophy. And throughout the entire season, we had a mindset like we weren't losing anything. You know, I think we lost like maybe 4 or 5 games throughout the entire year, which is crazy, especially with the MLS, with traveling, with Corona during that year, and going to the MLS is back bubble. It was crazy year, and to just kind of sit back and look at what the team did that year was really, really special. And yeah, a special moment for me just to deliver a trophy to the club that I've grown up my entire life with.
Of course, you could definitely see the passion in that squad and in the pictures that they're taking.
Of course, bro. Yeah, of course. Just young guys that were given a chance. And like, as you can see, I don't think a lot of players, I think now it's starting to get better. A lot of young players in the MLS are starting to get more playing time, and you're seeing some kids really like get on the pitch and actually do really good things and that kind of thing. But yeah, just a group of guys, young guys that really just made a mark and just helped their team, you know. And I think that was really special because the Union put so much time and money into their academy. So just to have that feeling of being around each other since 14 years old and then go all the way up and win the first trophy was huge.
Yeah, I think that's something that the MLS is starting to focus on more.
Yeah.
In the academies, and I think it's obviously working. They're producing great.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
And then a month later after that, you go on to score your first senior goal with the national team against El Salvador.
Yeah.
How did that feel, man?
Yeah, bro. I mean, honestly, it sounds like it's like all ups and this kind of thing, and it has been, and it's been whirlwind of 2 years, I guess you can say now. It's been crazy, but yeah, I mean, to score my first goal for the national team And even getting my debut against Costa Rica, I think was like even a year earlier than that. It's just you watch the World Cups, you have their jerseys, watching Landavin, watching Clint Dempsey, watching Pulisic, watching all these guys all the time. It's just amazing to really just be on the field and wear that crest and just do it for your country, And it's no better feeling. And it was awesome to score my first goal. And yeah, I mean, I hope to score many, many more.
Of course, man, you got to represent.
So, yeah, for sure, bro.
So what is your proudest moment in football so far, as you'd say?
Proudest moment? I mean, I think the Atlanta goal will never top the feeling I had after the game, the buzz. I don't think I got any sleep that night. I think that's probably the proudest moment. I think just the buzz after the game, getting all these texts, family, friends, all this kind of thing was just huge.
Awesome. So being a part of this big movement now with these players moving from Europe, you want to talk about Weston McKennie, Christian Pulisic, you got all these players moving in and out. How does it feel to be a part of that era?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, first off, it's a huge era for American soccer, I think. And I think it's the brightest it's ever looked. And I think that the players that we have over here, I mean, you have Gio Reyna playing at a high level week in, week out. I mean, he's starting at Borussia Dortmund. You have Christian, like we said, scoring in Champions League semifinals and is going to go and play in the final most likely. You have Weston McKennie playing for Juventus, Serginho Dest playing for Barcelona. All of these guys are playing for top clubs. And to hopefully be a part of that team is a great feeling. And to just be a part of the national team in general is just an awesome feeling. And to be known as one of these guys that are like, I guess, some of the first guys to like really go over to Europe and do that kind of thing it's awesome feeling. And I just want a lot of Americans to know that it's always possible. And whatever route you want to take, it doesn't matter as long as you're willing to show your best and get over here and work hard day in and day out. I don't think any route, it doesn't matter.
It definitely shows that U.S. soccer is doing something right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I think that, they've done a great job recently with just national teams, youth national teams, academies, everything I think is going right in the U.S. right now with football and soccer.
Good. So now at the beginning of the year, you signed with RB Salzburg. What was the transition like from MLS to the Austrian Bundesliga?
Yeah, it was honestly a pretty tough transition at first. I think that even at the club level, I mean, I came into the RB Salzburg, and the way they train here is next level, man. It's just everybody's going 100 miles per hour winning the ball back. And that's kind of the Red Bull philosophy is win the ball back, play forward, and press and press and press. And that's something that we really pride ourselves on. That's what Jesse Marsch is a big fan of. And I think that when I came in, the pace was crazy here. Just in training, it was just like, whoa, like these guys take training seriously. And you just come in, and now since training there and being there, I feel like I'm getting to be a better and better player week in and week out. After every single training, I feel like that. And I think that that's huge. And with the league in general, I think that it's awesome league. It's the kind of first kind of thing I've had with this winning mentality thing. I'm not saying the Union didn't have it. It was just here, they've won the league 10 times in a row. Or I don't know what it is, like 10 times. And they won the Austrian Cup double like 3 times in a row. So it's just a winning mentality here. And to have the pressure on your shoulders to go out week in, week out and win the game is something I'm not used to, even if you're home or away. So I think that's something that's different. And it was really, really good feeling. And to go out there and feel confident and like feel confident in your teammates and knowing that they're going to get the goal or you're going to get the goal or that kind of thing. So it's really a awesome step up for me. And the league in general, I think it's a very good league. I think it's a good stepping stone league to a better league. And I think that it teaches you a little bit more of how fast it is. I think that this is a Red Bull league. Everybody kind of presses, everybody gets after you. It's very, very physical. I think that's the biggest difference from the MLS is it's faster. You have people closing you down faster. So yeah, that's probably the biggest difference.
Of course, and you could see winning is inside this team's DNA, like you said.
Yeah.
You go out and you want to just as many as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I think that we just try to score as many goals as we can each game. You see it. I think everybody's hungry for goals, and it's an awesome atmosphere here. Awesome.
So how's your German? German awesome.
I mean, it's not going so well, but I mean, I'm learning as best I can. I think that the hardest thing is like what Jesse knows full German now, which is crazy. But the biggest thing for Americans coming over here is just like the way they pronounce things here. Like in America, you can't really pronounce some of the things that they say, so you have to keep working on it. And then for me, it's just, I know a lot of vocabulary now. I can listen and understand what people are talking about. But for me, it's the talking part. I have to remember all the words, and I talk a little bit slow, but it's just with time. And I think I'm on a normal track for anybody that's learning right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as long as you're sticking with it, I'm sure you'll be from the teammates.
No, for sure. For sure.
What's the play style like in this league compared to the MLS? Like, I know you mentioned that it's fast paced. Is it always like that for all 90 minutes?
Yeah, I would probably say, yeah. I think that you do have some teams that will sit back a little bit more when they play against you, especially when they come to our place. But teams aren't afraid to play here, and teams in the MLS, sometimes you'd see teams sit back and let you, especially when they came to us last year because we were dominant at our place. They would sit back. It'd be hard for us to play sometimes frustrating. But then you have teams here that, like, they might not be as good as you, but they're trying to play. They're trying to win the game. They're not coming here for a tie. And I think that's a little bit different. And I just think the pace of the game is just faster. I think that you're just getting closed down. You need to make that decision fast. And I think that that's something that's a little bit different. Sometimes MLS is kind of that South American way. You play a little bit, you get touches on the ball, you come back. Teams aren't going to press as hard as they do here. So I think that's the little difference probably. But still both really good leagues, I think.
And playing under the tactics of, like you mentioned, Jesse Marsch.
Yeah.
Him being your coach, do you think that propelled you to excel like at such a rapid speed like you are right now?
Yeah, I think at start, I had to earn everybody's trust. Like I said, I think any guy that comes into a team, you always have to earn the trust of your teammates and the trust of your coaching staff. Jesse, of course, knew me at the time and knew I was a good player, but it's a big transition. I mean, it kind of goes under the radar that I'm by myself. I was by myself for 4 months. My girlfriend just got here, and my parents came for about 2 weeks. So I'm by myself for 3 months, and I've never been by myself before. And I think that's something that's very underrated and kind of goes under the radar because you're not used to having your family. You're used to having your family around, then they're not there. So you're by yourself all the time. And you have those little things. And then coming after training, doing food yourself, all these little things, and learning the culture, getting to know teammates, getting to know friends. It's a whole big thing. And I think that I got lucky with the teammates I have and the coaching staff, like I said, Jesse. And I think that I earned everybody's respect when I came in. I think I had a really good start to my campaign here. I didn't really start the first couple of games, but after that, I think I scored my goal. I scored in a friendly, and I was doing well in training. And I think that's when I earned everybody's respect. And I started making more friends. And then Jesse and I were sitting down doing coaching, doing like film and stuff, even with the assistant coaches. So yeah, it was a journey, but I mean, it's helped me out so much. And I feel like I'm developing day in and day out under Jesse.
The chemistry is being built every single day.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you give us a little behind the scenes, like feeling? I know you mentioned leaving family behind, friends behind. Well, what is that like? Like, how are the video calls back home? When do you get to things? What is that like?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you know. I mean, FaceTime's it's awesome, but sometimes it's like you don't want to FaceTime. You want to be with them. You know, it's tough. And listen, FaceTime's amazing that we can do that at this time of age because I don't know what I would do 30 years ago. I guess you'd use a payphone. I don't even know if you could call back to America during that time. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what I would do during that time, but I'm very lucky to have what I have now. But yeah, it's tough. You know, you're used to being around your brother and sister, your family every night at dinner, talking about your day, going to them, going to your girlfriend, and that kind of thing. So it's tough. But what I kind of do to kind of deal with my time is I play my video games with my friends back home. I mean, we'll chill. That's my time to talk to them. I'll FaceTime my friends. I'll FaceTime my girlfriend, Melena. We'll watch movies at night, FaceTime my parents. And yeah, I mean, that's what you have to do. And you just have to get through every day. But really, my main focus was on football day in and day out. And I think that's also something that really helped me too.
For sure, man. So earlier in February this year, you made 2 appearances in Europa League against Villarreal. What was that like playing at the big stage?
Yeah, crazy, bro. I think it was just like it really opened my eyes because you see that the level that these guys play at, and it's a step up. I mean, Villarreal's in the Europa League final right now, so it's a step up, and it's crazy like how Unai Emery has his team set up. It's really hard to break them down. You have to be super creative. You have to find little pockets. And honestly, I struggled those 2 games, but I think for me, I think it was opening, and I think that I've had more time here, and I think I've developed as a player. So then hopefully next year, if we're in Champions League or Europa League, I do better. And I think that it was a really good experience for me, and I only learned more about it.
Yeah, and seeing that you guys competed against the finalists now, it's
yeah, for sure.
It was a real challenge for you guys as well. Now, being at the top of the table, what's the vibes like? How are the teammates feeling? How's everyone feeling?
Yeah, we won the Austrian Cup, the Austrian Cup. We won that last week, I think it was already. I think it was last or 2 weeks ago. So the spirits were high. I think that they've been high, and we've looked confident. We beat Storm Graz yesterday, so that was a big game for us, and I think that almost wrapped up the title because now Rapid lost. So I think that we're in a really good spot right now. Everybody's emotions are high, but I think Rapid's a rival, so we're going to be ready to go, and I think the confidence is high as a team. So it's one more game, and then we wrap it up, and then that's the 2 titles, and so the double. So that's always a club's dream, and yeah, we're going to celebrate probably, and it's going to be an awesome time.
There we go. So I know recently, like you just mentioned, you guys were in the Austrian Cup final. You bagged one of the 3 goals. What was that feeling like? That win and that goal?
Yeah, to score a goal and help your team win the title is always something big. It's always something that, like, I think that's one of my first goals that have really, like, meant something. And also the goals that I just scored the past game too. I think it's always awesome to get that goal that, like, propels your team, like, really helps your team to get to win the game or do that kind of thing. And against the Cup final game, I think it was just to separate us even more in the game against Lost. And yeah, it was really awesome to score the goal. It even brings you up even more after the game when you win the title. And yeah, I think then after that game, we won the Cup, and then all the focus was on the league again. So yeah, I was really happy with the team, and I've been super happy, and it's been an awesome time here, and I'm really excited for the future and the Cup that we're going to hopefully win soon.
So do you feel like there's never a nonstop? It's always like, oh, you win, I got to focus on the next game. It's time to go.
Yeah, honestly, it's like that. I think the day or the night of the game or after the game, it's always like you're buzzed up from the game. With the next day, you have to already focus on the next game because it's already match day -1 tomorrow, and then we play on Wednesday. So then my head's already turned off from the game of the Storm Graz, and now it's on the Rapid. So I think that's something that you kind of learn as you go, and I think it's helpful. It's just to kind of come back down and just realize that you have another game, you have to play well, like all these kinds of things. You have to help your team no matter what. So I think it's something that I'm continuing to learn, and it's awesome. And if you play one bad game on the weekend, 2 days later you play another game to redeem yourself, and that's always a really good feeling.
Yeah, love that, man. That's the winning mentality you were talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
So usually the way we ended up here with non-league footballers, we asked this question for our grassroots and non-league players. What is some advice that you can give to those players that still have a dream of going pro?
Yeah. This is like the one thing that I've kind of been told my entire life, and I think that I mean, work hard always. That's always been a big thing, is you work harder than anybody else, and when you're not working, you know someone's going to be working harder than you, so you have to work harder than them. So I think that's a huge one, and I think another one is for anybody that wants to become a pro. It doesn't matter which route you take to become a pro. I mean, you see Gio Reyna, he goes to Borussia Dortmund and then makes his way up from there. I played in the MLS, and then I went to the Austrian Bundesliga. Daryl DK played at UVA. Then he went to Orlando City. Then he's at Barnsley killing it. So it doesn't matter the route you take. It's just the end goal. And if you want to play professional soccer, it's there for you. It's just you have to take advantage of it.
Love that. Thanks, man. And thank you again for joining us today.
No, of course, man. Of course. Thanks for having me. Really good job. Thank you.
Thank you.